Vincent Marissal is waking up this morning on the other side. Instead of writing searing political commentary, this morning he's the subject of it. The former political columnist at La Presse is running to represent Quebec Solidaire in Rosemont. And for now, he's the only candidate. A star candidate with a real chance, not just of taking the nomination, but of beating the PQ in Rosemont. And that would mean its leader, who's the current MNA, Jean-François Lisée. No surprise that the PQ is up in arms, accusing him of dividing the sovereignist vote, possibly allowing the Liberals a chance to come up the middle, or so they say. But much of the criticism he's facing this morning in print is over who he really is, politically speaking. Is he as far to the left as Manon Massé and Gabriel Nadeau-Dubois? Is he a fervent sovereignist? Vincent Marissal is live with us on the phone this morning. Vincent, good morning. Thanks for talking to us.
Good morning, Mike.
So I was listening to you and the many interviews you gave yesterday talking about meetings that you had with the Federal Liberal Party, the Trudeau Liberals. And there are a couple of reports this morning that say not only were you attending those meetings, but that you made the approaches to the Trudeau Liberals with dates and specifics. In December of 2016, that's just 18 months ago, you initiated a conversation about working in the Prime Minister's office for Justin Trudeau. In 2017, you said you were interested first in the Saint-Laurent riding. Just a few months ago, you said you were interested in the Outremont riding. Did you make those repeated overtures to one of the most federalist parties in the country?
Actually, I had these conversations, Mike. I'm not denying it. I would not characterize my intentions at the time. I was exploring some new options for me. I was about to leave La Presse, or I just left La Presse at the time. I was basically looking for new options for me. The fact is, it didn't go that far with the Parti libéral du Canada. I know many people in this party. Some MPs called me. I had these meetings, but at the end of the day, I didn't make the move for the Liberal Party of Canada.
You didn't. You chose to go with Quebec Solidaire.
That's right.
And the thing about Quebec Solidaire is it is a party of principle and now a fervently, squarely sovereignist party. It has merged with Option Nationale. And yet you wanted, in recent memory, to represent a federalist party and even to work in the Prime Minister's office. Can you help us understand how you can hold those two principles in one?
Yeah, well, as right now I am a member of Quebec Solidaire. That's the first time of my life that I actually take a membership card from a party. So that, I think, says a lot about my involvement with Quebec Solidaire. I'm also a left-wing man and now a left-wing politician, I should say. And I would like to run my campaign. I would like to debate ideas. I'm not saying that I'm 100%, that I agree 100% with everything in the Quebec Solidaire program, but who does actually? And I'm really looking forward to some debate, and these debates will take part inside the party. But I will make my points. And yes, I do support the vast majority of the program of the Quebec Solidaire, and yes, I do support sovereignty of Quebec.
Okay, because it's not just a detail. Quebec independence,
not
right?
at all.
So I still don't understand. If you are a supporter of Quebec independence, you're running now, or you want to represent a party that wants to move to achieve Quebec independence within the first year in office, how is it that you wanted to work in the Prime Minister's office for Justin Trudeau, who would have been fighting tooth and nail against that big idea?
Well, the fact is, it didn't happen.
Yeah, but you wanted to work there. You made the approach. How can you have... what are your principles, Vincent Marissal?
Well, I made the approach because I was basically looking for new options for me.
Because you wanted a job? So sovereignty for you, if you want a job, you're for it, and if you want a job somewhere else, you're against it?
No, but Mike, the fact is I didn't go work for them. And
but you approached
them. There are some reasons for... but I spoke with many people. I spoke with many people in other media. I spoke with people in other parties. I had many meetings.
But this is a fundamental... This is about Quebec independence. It's about changing the nature of the Constitution, taking Quebec out of Canada. It's not a detail.
No, and I'm not saying, you're right, I'm not saying that is a detail. That's why it took me like 18 months, because I was also speaking at the time, having meetings with Gabriel Nadeau-Dubois, for instance, and I was just trying to make my mind through it, and basically I was asking myself, after 25 years of journalism, I was not a member of any party. I didn't do any partisan thing in my life. I was a journalist. So basically, I was looking for my political identity. I was looking for where should you go?
Okay,
you decided to leave La Presse. Okay, where are you politically? Where do you want to work? What do you want to do?
You said you wanted to debate ideas, so tell us, why have you come to the conclusion, apparently fairly recently, that Quebec needs to be an independent country with such urgency that you would get on the case within the first year in office?
Well, first of all, to do that, you have to take power, right? So let's not jump to let's not.
You're saying you're not going to win, so we could say that about the entire program for Quebec Solidarity. You can throw it all in the bin because you're not going to win power, so you're not going to do anything.
No, I'm not saying that we're not going to win, but there's a thing called reality in life, and what I'm saying basically is, and it's not the first time I'm saying this, I voted yes in 95. I voted yes in 95. I come from a sovereigntist family. My father was a PQ militant at the time. This is not new for me. This is not
okay.
Not
so, but on the realm of ideas, but you want to talk about ideas. Sure, but why does Quebec need to be independent?
Wow, this has been debated for so long.
Yeah, but we're talking about the future. What do you want to do? Why do you think it needs to be done in the next year?
Well, it needs to be done when Quebecers will be ready. It needs to be done because Quebec is actually a country.
Hang on, are you for independence or not? Because you said it needs to be done when Quebecers are ready. But are you familiar with the platform now that you've merged with SNL? Because there is in the platform, it is written that will be your policy and that will be what you pursue. You will pursue Quebec independence in the first mandate. It's not when Quebecers are ready. Are you signed up to that?
Yeah, I mean, when Quebecers are ready, I mean, first of all, we have to be elected, right? We're not going to do this from the seat of the opposition at the National Assembly. So yes, I'm quite comfortable debating this.
You don't sound like a very convinced independentist.
Well, that's your judgment, Mike.
Well, then tell us why it's so important. Then give us the pitch. Why is Quebec independence so important that we need to do it in the next year?
Well, because we've been debating this for so long in Quebec and in Canada, and actually we are frozen in a statu quo, in a constitutional statu quo that makes no sense, and it's time for Quebec to take its responsibilities regarding immigration, regarding environment. We have huge disagreement with the rest of Canada about only these two things, but more than that.
About which things?
Immigration and environment. Let's take oil production for example. For instance, we don't have the same view on that.
Don't we? Aren't Quebecers one of the places where we own the most cars and drive them the most?
Yeah, that's
big cars, SUVs.
That's why we have a program to switch to clean power in Quebec.
The party's been dropping in the polls. A lot of Anglophone CBC listeners have been in touch with us to say they used to support Quebec Solidaire. They're federalists, but they can't really deal with the Option Nationale merger. It's not something they can live with. Do you think that's dragging the party down in the polls?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we have to unite. It's not been possible with the PQ for many, many reasons, although I was not there, so it's hard for me to comment on what went on behind closed doors. But we have a campaign to run, Mike, and polls are polls. They're useful, but they're just
okay.
polls.
But speaking to the people in Rosemont, we have quite a few people listening to us in Rosemont, federalists in Rosemont who vote for the Quebec Solidaire candidate and have in the past. Can they feel comfortable voting for you if they're federalist?
Well, it's for them to say, Mike. I'm not going to.
Well, you're running for office. You're not a political commentator anymore. You need to make pitches. You need. Would you, if you talk to someone on the doorstep says, "I'm a federalist. I want to vote for you because I believe in a lot of your policies, but I'm not interested in independence." What do you say to that person?
Well, the only thing you can say to that is to respect their opinion, Mike.
So they shouldn't vote for you.
Well, if they're not comfortable voting for us, I will try to convince them. But at the end of the day, it's their private decision, and you just have to respect it. That's the way it works.
I'm curious how you're feeling this morning on the other side, which is the receiving end of the political debate, which can be pretty cut and thrust, because a lot is at stake in Quebec. A lot of big issues are regularly part of our campaigns. Do you have any regrets?
No, not at all. And if you want to know how I feel this morning, I feel great. I'm a bit nervous because it's a big move. It's a big change for me. And yes, I'm on the other side, and I'm learning fast.
Vincent Marissal, he's thrown his hat into the race seeking the Quebec Solidaire nomination in Rosemont. Vincent, thanks for speaking to us.
Thanks.